I also want to take a moment to discuss with you the NPCP. This is the National Pilates Certification Program. Now, the organization used to call themselves the PMA, the Pilates Method Alliance, so you might have heard that before. Now, this refers to an additional certification. So, for example, you already go through a teacher training program, whether it's a small private boutique training program or, say, Peak Pilates, you get your certification, and then 25 years ago, everyone would then go and get their NPCP, which is essentially just another stamp of approval. It is kind of like another certification. It's a test, and it basically just kind of levels the playing field. And this overarching, what was the Pilates Method Alliance, would offer it to put their seal of approval on the legitimacy of your training or your knowledge as a Pilates instructor. So you would have it on your resume, I'm certified through Peak Pilates, and I have my PMA certification, now called the NPCP certification. And it would just let any studio owner that you were interviewing with know that, you're a legitimate instructor, especially if you had a certification through a program that wasn't as well recognized or renowned. Nowadays, it's really not something I see a ton. To be honest, they kind of like screwed the pooch in 2020 when they were called out for their lack of inclusivity, and they made some really ignorant comments on their social media and some of their behavior. And the industry kind of turned on them because of their lack of inclusivity. Since then, they've rebranded and they've revamped kind of their admin board. But it's not as prevalent to see people with this additional certification, nor is it as encouraged as it once was, like I said, like 20 plus years ago. So it is an additional certification you can get. Again, an additional stamp of approval you do have to pay for. And I believe there are annual fees you pay as well. Not quite sure the return on your investment there as far as what they go for, they go towards. I know they used to go toward a big conference that was put on, but to be honest, again, they've kind of fallen through the cracks since they made some PR blunders in 2020. So I don't think it's necessary, but if you hear about that, that's what that is. And then think if you do go through a private program to get certified and then you move and you apply at a studio to work, they might say, well, we want to make sure you're NPCP qualified, at which point I think you could probably just go online, apply to take the exam, and then go from there if you really wanted to. But not completely necessary in my opinion, but another option.